I wasn't planning to sit down and react to Taylor Swift until like the re-recorded version of Speak Now, but here we are. Hello and welcome back, everybody. I'm very happy that you're here. Well, Taylor Swift has dropped another version of her album, including songs that we've never heard before. And even though technically I have listened to the album, the 3 a.m. version, so it's just about like 17, no, more than that. Whoa, 20 tracks. 20 tracks. I thought maybe it would be nice to revisit the album and listen to the new tracks together. The more important and interesting aspect of it is my perspective on the album changed a lot with her recent breakup. And now I kind of view this album as the breakup album, which makes so much more sense when you re-listen to the songs and keep that in mind, because the songs really have a new meaning. This is probably gonna be a two-part video because 24 tracks is a lot to cover, so I might do the original album at first and then we can do everything else, including the new music video that I wanted to watch that I still haven't watched yet. So I think I might split it into two, and you might see one part come out first and then the second part come out just a tad bit later. So together we're gonna jump right into it, and we don't have any time to waste. Let's start right now. I'm not gonna go too much in depth with regards to that song because I already reacted to it and the music video. I'll probably link it in the bio of this video. Honestly, to make a very long story short, I was in bed as pretty much everybody at midnight and I tried to listen to the album. I was super exhausted, so I ended up falling asleep like halfway through. Not because it wasn't good, really because I was too exhausted to pay attention. And I also sat, like, I lie down in bed, so I didn't help my case really, but it was the perfect opener, and this is right up my alley in terms of sound. It sounds like a midnight. Like there's no other way to explain it. It just sounds like midnight.
I just need this thought spiral. Get it off your chest. Get it off my desk.
It's that weird, melancholic, dark, but still like you might have a bit of energy, and it's like you're not ready to go to bed, but it's already late in the night type of situation. Whereas, for the meaning of the song, it's a straight up like, let's stay in the moment, let's enjoy everything without considering what's happening outside. And I think that doesn't change much with my new understanding of the album, but we're about to get really into a whole ride of new meanings.
I just wanna stay in that lavender haze. When the morning came, we were cleaning incense off your burgundy on my t-shirt. When you splashed your wine into me, the rust that grew between telephones.
You see, you start like digging into the lyrics, and that's where you find little pieces of information, including the rust that grew between telephones, which I know the song technically is about them like meeting and how they ended up in this relationship, and like kind of asking yourself like how did we end up here. But technically, if you look at it, the rust that grew between telephones, it could also be like a double meaning, as in like how they weren't communicating anymore, like they weren't really exchanging, because obviously, between work, he's an actor, she's a singer, and they were maybe at a certain distance a lot of the time, so maybe they had a lot of like moments where there was so little communication that like rust had time to grow in the telephones in between them. And the lips that I used to call home, it was in the past tense. That's where you like start digging. I'm just saying.
How the hell did we lose sight of us again?
See, how the hell did we lose sight of us again? Maybe that song secretly is about them. Like, it was fun at the beginning, we got together, we were wondering how it even happened in the first place, and now here we are at the end of it. How did this happen in the first place? And they were, how the hell did we lose sight of us? Like when you lose sight of your own relationship and couple and other priorities kind of come in the way, this is kind of the feeling that you have.
Ain't that the way should always end?
So imagine if they had another fight and it's like sobbing with your head in your hands, and that the way shit always ends. Imagine if it's like a repeat pattern of a few fights here and there that led up to the breakup. So literally, to me, it's a detail that I completely missed when I listened to the album the first time, thinking they were still together. But now that you reread the lyrics, it just makes even more sense. See, and it said, I lost you. Like, that's the moment where it's like, you know, that arc. Grammar's not gonna get the best of me today, that's for sure. That story arc of like, I don't know how we ended here. I still don't know how we ended here. It was positive at the beginning, brand new. It's now the end, and I don't understand why we've come to that ending.
That's a real fucking legacy to leave.
Yeah, legacies is usually when something is done and you're passing it over to somebody else, or like in stories, or, you know, a certain value that you're giving to other generations, you know, whatever the case may be. In this case, the story is done. She's literally leaving a legacy as she's leaving the relationship, or at least that's how I perceive it.
I have this thing where I get older, but just never wiser.
I mean, production.
Me high.
That part.
Everybody agrees, everybody agrees.
There's something about it that's like so unperfect, but so perfect at the same time. And it's a rare register that we see Taylor singing in. So it's interesting to hear, and it kind of displays a more mature sound in her, or a mature approach in the way that she writes her songs, and how she knows her vocal abilities, and she taps into something new that she discovers all the time. So it's nice to hear. I mean, the song doesn't really change much to the meaning of the album, considering it's a much more self-reflective song. But I mean, now I think we're heading into the songs that might allow us to dig a little deeper. And I mean, some songs are not necessarily about the relationship, that I understand. But Taylor is the type to mix like little different stories within the same songs and get inspiration from 2-3 different events and then put them together. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of end up finding parts that might relate to the current or the recently past relationship. I guess we're gonna figure that out together.
One night, a few moons ago, you wanted me tonight, feels impossible.
I mean, in the song, technically, she's talking about how she's finding it hard to believe that her lover actually wants her in the state that she comes home in. So that's why it's written, you know, you wanting me tonight feels impossible, but it's coming down, no sound, it's all around like snow on the beach. It's like, oh my God, out of all the, like, what are the odds that you actually would like be okay with it, and it feels so rare that it's like snow on the beach. But I feel like this might be hiding some stuff of like, you want to meet tonight after a weird moment of disconnect, a weird moment of like silence that they might have not even exchanged for a little bit. I come home and you still want me, even though we had no, you know, moment recently that was indicative of that.
My smile is like I won a contest.
See, there is something about her hesitation and questioning how good something can be that hints at there's a few breaks in the zone, and if you were to hit it hard enough, everything would fall apart. And it partly could be insecurity, but it definitely could be part like things have happened that make me question whether or not this is real and true. I mean, it's not that clear on that one, but it definitely hints a little tiny, ever so little bit at the situation. I'm also very interested in seeing or hearing the difference with the other version of the same song that they are now re-releasing in the Till Dawn edition, where technically there should be more Lana Del Rey, because it was, I guess, a frequent comment that people were saying that she wasn't present enough on the record. I guess we're gonna have that to listen to later on.
Summer went away, still the yearning stays. He's just to learn that you never cared.
I think the song might not necessarily be about the relationship, but still, some parts of it, it's like, I wait patiently, he's gonna notice me. Have you ever been in a situation where you're like in a social gathering, you're with a significant other, you're not very comfortable, you kind of want to leave, and you're kind of waiting after that significant other, and they're like just too busy minding their own business to even like think for a second that they should check up on you? This is that's the feeling that I get from that. I didn't choose this town, I dream of getting out. could be about the relationship. And I'm reading very quickly. There is a reference. It says the reference to Daisy May might be a reference to the British actress Daisy May Cooper. She has had more than one British boyfriend, but the latest one it was. So that could be a little connection there. I'm really digging. I don't think I've ever dug that hard into lyrics of a song, but I think you understand my point. It might have been hinted in between the lines if you read properly. Now this bridge.
There were pages turned with the bridges burned. Everything you lose is a step you take.
See, just that overall feeling of you're on your own, kid. You always have been. I think because of her history of going through relationships, if I were to put myself in her shoes, it is a familiar feeling of like, at some point you get used to it of like, it didn't work out once again. I'm on my own. It is what it is. I'm used to it by now. So I don't know. If you were to take the song in present tense and not necessarily about a past relationship, it could work too.
He wanted a comfortable, I wanted that pain.
Now this
He
one.
wanted a bride.
This one.
Full of cages, full of fences, pageant queens and big pretenders. He was sunshine, I was midnight.
Okay, so here's my theory, okay? He was sunshine. So after coming out of the Reputation era, Taylor released the Lover era, right? Where it was like that contrast between night and day in the city, where you had the night in the city after 1989 night, then after that night came the day, and the album was supposed to be daylight. So technically he was sunshine, so that would match the Lover era that really represents the era she was with him, because I know it overlapped in Reputation, but Reputation was also about previous relationships and other topics. But he was sunshine, I was midnight rain. So this is the way that she was feeling when she met somebody that was different and good for her, and that brought in light that she may not have had in past relationships. And so this is where I realized that this song was probably and most likely about Mr. Joe Alwyn, and that it is a story of how she was still not ready and in maybe insecurities or just like overall not prepared to commit long term to something that good because she didn't feel like she deserved it, maybe something like this. This is the energy that I'm getting from the lyrics as I go through the album with the current day information.
And I never think of him except on midnights like this. Midnights like this.
I think this song has to be one of my favorites from the album. It's dark. It kind of reminds me of the Reputation era that I loved. The lyrics are so visual. It's a very, very good song.
Good girl, sad boy, big city, wrong choices, like some explanations. Can I ask you a question?
This song is definitely not about Joe, considering the fact that there is the sampling to Out of the Woods, and I think that this may have been about Harry Styles. And I think there is another mention of gender roles, which we all know that Harry Styles kind of challenged a lot of the gender roles with his, the clothing that he wore and some of the fashion trends that he, I wouldn't say piloted, but definitely was ahead of the curve for most. So definitely kind of this moment during a midnight where it's like you're thinking about past relationship, but it's a nice little break from making songs about one type of situation. So, and it's a good song too.
Suitable and right. Do you wish you could still touch her? It's just a question.
I haven't talked so much about the production of the album so far, but like, for example, you take this track, it's crazy how the production sounds like what the song is about. You really have a moment that is all about that feeling of questioning things, of like having that second doubt. Second doubt, is that an expression? I don't even know. Of doubting something for a second, and just like, second thought, that's what I meant to say. Of having a second thought about something and just like, what if it could have, and the production just represents that really, really, really well, and accompanies the lyrics and puts the focus on the spotlight on the lyrics, which is super important because Taylor's strength is really the songwriting aspect and her lyrical choices and style. I really, really loved that track as well.
Draw the cat eyes sharp enough to kill a man.
Now, what can I say about this one? We all know who this is about.
Sometimes I wonder which one will be your last lie. Don't get sad, get even.
Now, the choreography and the whole like staging for her performance live on tour of the song is just so freaking perfect. It is wild. Also, the song is like straight up my alley. It gets that like dark, angsty teen out of me and just like feeling like a badass type of situation, even though I look like a very stereotypical fragile white boy. Once again, the production is just amazing, and what she did with the song is like I couldn't love it more.
She don't dress for friends. Lately she's been dressing for revenge. I'm a vigilante shit again.
That again, like the I don't know if you heard it, but like there's I swear the first time that I listened to this song, my mouth was fully opened, jaw on the ground, just like, whoa. This to me is a side of Taylor I think I like to see the most. It's good for her. Like yeah, like just yep.
Baby love, I think I've been a little too kind.
This is the one that I think is disguised as a mid-tempo, almost up-tempo, sort of like poppy song, but really when you think about it and the content of the lyrics, considering it's a comeback from the Lover era and she just was ready to put out new music, and she kind of kept it a little bit low-key throughout the pandemic after releasing her 2 other albums. When you kind of really put it in context of, there was a time where they were isolated together, Joe and her, living in this little bubble. Not a lot of people had news about what was going on, and then she was like, I'm ready to go back to what I was doing before, with the success that she had for Reputation, especially with the touring aspect. And maybe Joe wasn't ready for that. And it's like making her choose, sort of. Not necessarily explicitly making her choose, but kind of putting doubts in her head. And this was definitely the song of like, hey, if you're not going to be supportive, I'm going to walk my own way.
And by the way, I'm going out tonight. And when I meet the band, they ask, do you have a man? I can still say I don't remember.
This line makes a lot more sense nowadays. I'm saying, do you still have a man? I can say I don't remember. Kind of that little situation of like, not threatening, but warning, like, if you're not going to be supportive, I will choose myself first. So this song is probably one of the major indicators that she was going through something. And it's funny because at the time, when I listened to the album for the first time, I couldn't understand the perspective of the song. I really couldn't. To me, it was like, okay, she is playing around with Joe saying, look at, because in my mind, the relationship was going well. And this song was definitely about the present time in her timeline. I couldn't make sense of it. But now that I know that she was kind of going through that situation in the last few months, everything just makes sense.
Have you heard how I can reclaim the land? I miss you, but I miss Sparkland.
I Miss You, I think might have referred to some time where he was working, she was working, and like they didn't have that much time together, just as I was mentioning at the beginning of the album. But it's like, hey, in my own time, you know what I realized in my alone time? I miss sparkling. I miss going back and doing what I loved most. And I think that underneath it all, the message is really her true first love and forever love is always going to be music. And you can't take that away from her. And I think that's what the song really is about at the end of the day.
What's a girl gonna do? A diamond's gotta shine.
So I came up with this really interesting theory for the song. I think that Labyrinth was that period of back and forth where she might have had a time where she fell out of love, but then fell back in love with Joe before they broke up. It was that moment where she needed to step back, and then she realized maybe that she missed him, went back, and she was rediscovering that second wind in the relationship. And that's why she's talking about falling in love again. I don't think it was about the first time like that she fell in love with Joe. I think it was about a possible second time after they took some time apart.
It only hurts
See, a lot of the times people give advice that heartbreak is only temporary. Everything will work out. We're gonna feel better. And it's like, it only hurts this much right now. And that might have been the first time that they took some time apart. That's what she was feeling in the moment. She really, it's painful to break up, obviously, but it's that moment refers to really the first fallout that they had.
I'll be getting over you my whole life.
I do want to point out that if you refer to the song Snow on the Beach, and there is a mention of a legacy, and it's something that's, you know, everlasting, well, this is something that she might have lasting all of her life, of trying to get over Joe. And I mean, obviously the song could be taken into context where it was about a previous relationship and it's kind of a moment in the past, but honestly, in the positioning of the album, I find it really peculiar that she put it right after Bejeweled. And you know how Taylor like plans everything. She everything, there's a meaning behind it and makes sense. They might have had a fallout the moment that she wanted to go back and having, like, you know, start a new era, and that is what is hurting in the moment of the song right now.
Oh no, I'm falling in love again. I thought the plane was going down. How'd you turn it right around?
I thought the plane was going down. I mean, could be very general, but also could be very specific about how their relationship was about to crash. And once again, Second Wind kind of picks up after they realize they're not ready yet, and this is often something that happens in relationships. I truly feel like that is what this song is about. And it's really, you know, this song is really about that navigating that labyrinth of whether or not I should be going back. Should I stay and focus on myself? Should I give it another shot because there's something worth trying? And you kind of get lost in that. There's a period of time where it's so much hurt, so much pain, so much love, so much confusion. Everything is kind of hazy a little bit. And so you're like, uh-oh, I don't know what to do anymore. And this is really the feeling that I get from that song.
You talking shit for the hell of it. Addicted to betrayal, but you're relevant. Sweet like honey, karma is a cat. Purring in my lap cause it loves me. Spider boy, king of thieves.
It is so funny to me because I had never ever realized, you know, you look at all the references in the song, allegedly, you know, Karma is my boyfriend, referring to the song Boyfriend by Justin Bieber. Karma is a God, referring to woman, God is a Woman by Ariana Grande. Both are being managed by Scooter Braun. And then interestingly enough, King of Thieves, which I learned because of the song, that Scooter Braun has shares in 100 Thieves, which is a group of streamers basically that put together funds for, you know, activities and content creation and for management and whatnot of sponsorship, and he has shares in that. And I'm a fan of people that are part of 100 Thieves. Like, I watch constantly Valkyrie and Fuslie on YouTube. They stream video games, and I didn't even know that Scooter Braun had shares in that until this song came up, and I just went, oh, damn, okay. This song taught me things about things I didn't know, which usually that's what teaching is. You get what I mean.
Trick me once, trick me twice.
It is something when Taylor really pens songs that are, you know, the ones that are, like, for example, in Folklore and Evermore, because they're so detailed and they tell of a story that is so intricate and so beautiful to read. But whenever the Taylor does pop like this and writes like this, I am fulfilled. It's amazing pop writing. And I know we all know Taylor, like we know that's what that's her. That's her signature. That's what she does. But it's like, wow. You know, it explains her talent, it explains her success. No, it doesn't explain her talent. It is talent. It explains her success. There's a reason why she's, you know, one of the best.
I spy with my little tired eye, tiny as a firefly. All that you ever wanted from me was sweet nothing.
It is definitely a visual as to that side of Taylor and Joe's relationship of being out of the media, wanting to have a quote unquote maybe regular life where they're just at home and having fun doing simple things. And it's kind of like that sweet nothing, that moment where it's, you don't have to be doing something to be happy. And obviously they said the end is coming, which is like everybody talking about their relationship possibly ending, because obviously all the tabloids and rumors are always going around. Kind of that, you know, I think it's where the sweet spot of the second wind before it goes back down again. I think that's what this moment captures.
You're in the kitchen humming. All that you ever wanted from me was sweet nothing.
This song is as much about the industry as it is about her personal life. It's much more like, when they say the end is coming, it could be about her career as well, that people are talking about, like she at some point she's not going to be relevant any longer. Also industry disruptors, which she definitely can be considered one. So it's much more like all this is happening outside. Like, there's so much competition, so many things are making, like so many people are making plans outside, and we're just having simple times like inside at home. And there's such a contrast between those moments, you know. But that is kind of a sweet spot where the relationship's going well and the career is not as important for a minute. I think that struggle between personal life and career life has been one of the biggest elements that is kind of embedded in the lyrics of this album, and might have been the trigger of some of the conflicts and arguments that they might have had.
Once upon a time.
Now this song,
all the stuff.
that ARP in the back, I just love it so much.
What if I told you none of it was accidental in the first? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Facts.
'Cause I'm a mastermind.
That's the end of the standard version of the album, which is made up of 13 songs, obviously 13 for Taylor. I'm not going to do any ranking right now. I think I will do that at the end of the second part, but I will invite you guys to subscribe, leave a comment, and I forgot to number my things. Anyway, I'm putting out the second part very soon, so keep tabs on it. It's coming. I'll be back. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. For now, it's going to be very interesting to see the new content in the second part of the video, so keep an eye out for that, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.